Greta Van Fleet is a business.
Yeah.
You know, you got to generate money. Like, that's the whole thing. I know you guys aren't in it for the fame. I know you're not in it for the money.
No.
But we have a lot of young bands trying to make it, and they're just taking any gig they can get, and they're trying to do something in this world. Do you have any advice for them from the business side? Like, what makes your name stick? Like, what makes you a brand?
That's a complex question. It's a great question. I think being conscious, present, and very involved, and to be adamant about having control over what is in fact your company, your project, whatever you want to call it, so not doubting yourself. You know, and believing what you're doing, then that's cliche, but it's very, very true.
But it's true.
And so there's that. I mean, from the beginning, we were very very adamant the whole way through about every piece, you know, and to be educating yourself as the thing goes on, as the company grows, you know, to be very aware and to educate yourself all the way through on all of those things, and you'll learn a lot. We've learned a lot, and there's so much more to learn, you know.
Yeah.
And you make a lot of relationships, good relationships with great people, and know. I think trust your intuition when you're discussing business with people.
Right.
That if your inclination is not to move forward and that's not the right move,
don't do it.
Realize there's other things to consider and don't do it. Yeah.
That's cool. That's really important, but most people get starstruck by certain elements of money or fame or recognition that they kind of throw all their stuff out the window, you know, and then they become, 5-10 years down the road, they become something they never wanted to be.
Yeah.
And that's so sad.
And that's a complex thing, too. If you are creating, as far as if you were a musical group, if you're creating that art, that music, and putting, you're writing it, and you don't have to necessarily write it, as long as, you have artists like, Elvis, for God's sakes, didn't write a song, but it's like, as long as you are making this music on your own terms,
right?
That's very important. If all of a sudden you've been plucked up, you see this very strange thing. These people that have been plucked up, they look a certain way. And you get 1,000 writers in a room, and then you get 1,000 stylists, and you put this person together, and then it becomes manufactured, and then they lose their sense of identity. And identity as an artist is very important. So it is sort of being self-aware is the best you can, and having that time to reflect and meditate on a lot of those things. And that's there's integrity in that.
See how smart they are? Do you guys see this? Do you see how smart they are?
Learn that in school.
Marianne, that's for you.
I almost didn't get that one down. Oh my God. Melissa!
It's warm in here. Turn on the fan.
Yeah.
Butler.
Okay. Where's the butler? The comedy fairies.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, you know what? Speaking of comedy fairies, let's just go there before I forget. So there's this wonderful show out called Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And I've watched it, of course, loyally through a couple times. And several people watched it before me and suggested, Melissa, you have to watch this. It's a female comedian in the 50s trying to break into the scene. And she dresses up on stage, which is weird because that wasn't a thing. And I love dressing up. And she's kind of raw, and she says things that girls weren't saying then, and she gets arrested off stage one time talking about childbirth because that was like illegal for women to talk about.
Yeah, I've seen some episodes of the show. Yeah.
So then there's an episode released, and it is her getting her first big break, and her first big break comes from this big famous band, and they are going to let her be the opener. And of course, then people are blowing up my phone, and they're like, Melissa, Greta Van Fleet would be such a good match, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, okay. So, of course, I sent it to your mom, and just so she knows, And thankfully, I didn't have your manager's email yet then. And then, and then 2 weeks later, you're on SNL with her. She's the host. And then I was like, is this a sign? Is this a thing? And then I hear through the grapevine that a ton of your fans keep requesting that I'm the opener when you guys go back out on tour. Now, are those requests getting all the way to the top, or do they get filtered out somewhere?
I think in some way they must, you know. I mean, yeah.
Is this something you've heard? Is this a rumor you've heard?
In the closed rooms where people talk about business?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Okay, that's all I needed to know. I gotta start writing better jokes. The heat is on. No, actually, I've talked about this with a couple of my comedy friends that have been in the business for years and years and years. And they're like, Melissa, you don't understand what you're asking for. That's a terrible job. And I'm like, why? What do you mean it's a terrible job? I know them. I adore them. I love their music. They're like, no. No one's there to see you. Everyone's there to see them. Like, it's a terrible audience. And I was like, I don't care. I don't care. I think it'd be fun.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with the crowds that come to see us.
Yeah.
The bands that we've had out, they've loved, and they just accept things and are turned on to art. They're very curious and interested, you know, and about everything. They're actually very intelligent audiences, you know.
They are.
It's really cool.
It says a lot about the people that you guys attract.
They would have an absolute blast with you.
Yeah. I would have a blast with them. Aaron, just so you know.
Yes.
I mean, I know they have all the control, but you got to bring it up. I'm just saying. But no, so I've interviewed a lot of your fans. You're like hardcore fans that go everywhere. Yeah. And the one thing that comes up every single time is that when you go to a Greta Van Fleet concert, you will see young people, old people, white people, black people, Mexican people, like everything, every age, every race, every style, everything.
Yeah.
How do you guys do that? Like, you know, do you know how much more famous some people could be if they could appeal to a mass like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know you do that?
Well, yeah, we see it in the audience. It is incredible.
I mean, it must be weird when, like, 75-year-old Gertrude throws her bra on the stage. That is probably
Oh, yeah, I know Gertrude. She's not the only one.
Oh, they still make them in tan. Okay, great.
I didn't know they still made these. But, you know, you get the 2 cups. It's a fine science, really.
Yeah, it is. It's perfect. It's great.
No, but it's one of the most rewarding things in my life as an artist, to be able to see everybody coming.
That's cool.
Out. Just to see this thing and experience this music and have this that night together, and it's really very special. I suppose it's just we make our music for everybody, and we accept everybody, and we love everybody. It's just sort of and so I don't know. Everybody shows up. And it's this wonderful reciprocation that happens. You have the audience and all of these people, everybody.
Yeah.
You know, there and throwing their love energy onto the stage. You know, and you feel it, and then they fuel you, and you're able to throw all of that. You know, back, and it's really incredible.
We, as in me and your mom, I just enjoy talking with her when her passion and love for what you guys are doing is so inspiring. And like
I didn't get my voice from my father, that's for sure. You know, the impersonation I did of her earlier, you know, that bit, it translated, and then I suppose I evolved or let's call it manifested into something else. But that was it. That's it. Those are where the pipes come from, you know.
Yeah.
And so many other thoughts and ideas that are incorporated through everything that we do, you know. And we talk to a lot of people, you know, and it's sort of like, you know, and they're always asking about the musical aspects of the band. And she plays. You know, she was playing instruments and but I think what gets overlooked is what she does in the conceptual or thematic elements, where I'm coming from, and those ideas, and that those are a lot of what I gathered from her attitude and the perspective that she brought us up on.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Totally.
So,
I want to be a mom like her.
So yeah,
so bad.
Me too. I want to be a mom like her.
I mean, besides all the trouble you guys got in, like I probably spank more than your mom did. But
I don't know about that. She
claims she spanked you guys, but I don't know.
There was 4 of us, you know. I don't know how she did it.
Somebody had to get a whooping, right?
Absolutely, you know. It's just like
2 of them, just 2 of them. She said.
I don't know how she spanked 4 kids at one time, and she managed. I don't know.
I don't know.
4 limbs, right?
Yeah, just kick them. Kick one, tie one down, beat the other 2, then come back.
How do you spank 4 kids at one time and then have some other shit to do? You know, it's just like I don't know. Yeah, you do.
Oh my gosh,
How do you do that? I don't know.
We are transplants to Frankenmuth. Although my comedy business has always been here, we've just in the last couple of years moved to Frankenmuth, and we lived out on a bunch of property. Now we kind of live in town, and I've had to get rides from your mom and from Lori back to my house, and there's been young gentlemen in my driveway peeing right to the main road in Frankenmuth,
Nice.
and they laugh because they have boys. They think it's hilarious. And I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, oh, we're just like animals here in Frankenmuth. We're just animals. They're going to kick us out. But we have really nice grass.
We're human animals. Oh, we have wonderful grass. It's being watered. Honey.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay, so...
She said it was funny. She said it was funny.
He is funny. I'm actually quite intimidated to open for them because he's going to come out and blow me out of the water.
I've got...
Wait, I'm supposed to be the funny one!
I've got obscure wit. You're much more dynamic.
No.
Trust me.
I'm going to probably record that on my phone and hold it at night. I'll listen.
You're much more dynamic. You're much more dynamic. You're much more dynamic.
This was funny. Earlier, before we started this interview, Josh was talking about different things he goes through trying to get through media and like paparazzi and stuff. And he looks at me and he's like, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, I know what you mean. I've never been chased, just so you know. But you're welcome to out in the parking lot. We could do it.
I think we should.
That would be fun.
I think we should. Yeah.
Poor thing. We had a New Year's Eve together.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was the last New Year's Eve we got to do.
Yeah.
That was it.
That was really crazy. And I keep thinking back, you know, because I stepped out and we all shared, you know, we shared some, you know, we spoke. Everybody was, you know, having their big time, and we were entering the 20s, right? And it was like everything that everybody was thinking and saying.
We were also hopeful.
Ultimately changed entirely.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not entirely, but in the sense that the world changed overnight, and a lot of those prospects and things just didn't carry over quite as immediately.
Right. Well, and you guys, I mean, my company on a much smaller scale, we were on a roll. Mm-hmm. You guys were on a roll. Yeah. I mean, you guys were just going for the moon, you know? And then it's just, everything just, boom, gets shut off.
Yeah, but that's the key word, everything.
Yeah.
It's not like it's just
or
it's just us. Or
it was everything. And then so courageously, boldly, bravely, you guys release an album during a pandemic that just kills. Like, I just don't, no bands have the balls to do that. I mean, were you worried? I
think there were probably a couple.
Yeah. Well, maybe. But weren't you worried? Like, isn't that part of selling an album is touring with it and going out and promoting it?
That's a lot of it. But no, I mean,
we were all starved for your music, though. I mean, we were just dying for it.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's everybody. Yeah, we wanted to be able to share something, and we were gonna put the album out much earlier, but it was postponed because of so much of the unknowing, you know, and that's the same for a lot of artists.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's what happens.
And so I think where we're at now, I hope, you know, with the release of the album, that this will act as a vehicle in the transition to a more normal world
Yeah.
where people can be together again, and that's how we'll remember it. But for the people that are hurting now,
Yeah.
and for the unknown, uncertain things and that are happening, hopefully that gives people some hope at the very given moment, and hopefully it acts as a capsule in time that is you know, a good thing, a positive thing. So
You see how he's always thinking of everyone else? Do you see that? That's what I'm telling you guys.
Stop it.
I've said it 100 times. Like that, they are such genuine people. I don't just say that to say it. It's for real. It's so for real. You guys do something to people that I don't know that you even understand. I mean, do you know how many people are walking this earth with tattoos of your face on their body? How crazy is that?
The first time ever, I was in Nashville, and you know, we were out shot. There was a shoot that we were doing, and we wanted to not get things done by, you know, other people. We were like, okay, well, we don't generally get things done. We were like, this is what we want.
Yeah.
And the people are wonderful, and we've got awesome people that make, you know, that happen and everything. But we're like, let's just go look for, you know, outfits for this shoot, you know, and so Jake, Sam, and Danny, and a couple others from, you know, management came with us, and we were going around, and there were these group of people that came up from, you know, I've seen photos of people with tattoos, you know, or stuff, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing, you know. But there was this group of people that came up from maybe Alabama or something, and they ran into us, and this girl, they came up, I don't know, this girl had just gotten a Caravel tattoo.
Just
that day.
Gosh.
And we ran into them, and they were like, you know, oh my God, you know, and we you know, took pictures together. It was great. But she had just that day gotten a tattoo. So for the first time, I saw an actual tattoo
in person.
And they're like, look, it was like, wow, you know, it looked really great, you know.
That's cool.
And I think she was gonna go for the Garden's Gate, but they're like, no, we can't do that. There's no way to there's no way to put that tattoo. But for any tattoo artist that can do that,
Yeah,
I'd like to see it, you know. It would probably have to be pretty massive, though.
It would probably have to be
There's
huge.
A lot of lines.
A lot. Who drew that?
The Garden's Gate thing.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God, it's just a long story. I don't know how much you want to know about it.
Whatever.
It was like started.
Tell us.
In the beginning, I found this collage artist that I loved, and we were doing and I wanted him to do the album cover because we were on tour working on the Battle at Garden's Gate, on and off of tour. And we were in Bologna, and this guy, he's a younger guy from a younger English guy, and he was going to, so he was in Europe, or what, you know, at the time, whatever. So we right. So he was around, right? That's the bottom line. Okay, and we flew him in, and we met, and so it was great. And so we started working together, and then he got on this other projects, and it was great. But it was sort of like we kept going, the collage thing is a little complex. I mean, the album's super complex. Do we really want to represent the album in a visual way in such a complex, you know? It's like, we thought maybe we'd just go a little more simple. How about more simple? And we kept stripping away things. And so somebody else stepped in at that point, you know, and things kept revolving, and it was the battle at Garden's Gate at that point.
Oh.
You know, Jake, Sam, and Danny, and everybody, and all this stuff. So we're like, okay, and it was really complicated. But eventually, it was sort of, okay, well, let's make something sort of contextual and simple, and that was it. So we decided that every song is very important to this album. Every song sort of is a piece of a major puzzle. It's all very essential. That's why it's there, and so we thought, let's create some kind of transportation and a visual, and the gate was the answer, and that's what we were trying to do before, but it was like that's a complex visual universe. And we thought, okay, well, let's create then this simple thing. So we all sketched up a bunch of stuff, and we had this very talented artist come in and combine all those elements.
Oh my gosh.
And we saw that image, and
Yeah.
we'd arrived. It's like that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, how cool.
But it was a shit fest.
So, yeah, but if
Yeah.
you lost your patience along the way, we wouldn't have got there. And by we, I mean you guys.
It's like waking up every morning going, okay, let's and keep going and trying to get that thing.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool. So, well, speaking of,
I told you it was an extensive one.
I like that story. Do you mind doing a blind taste test? I mean, I know you kind of have like that refined palate that everyone's very envious of.
Refined palate.
Yeah, I hear you guys are great cooking in the kitchen. You make all this weird stuff. I heard
love
tofu
everything culinary.
mentioned. I've never had that before. I didn't know that was a real thing. I don't know how you live without red meat. I don't know how to do that. I think I would die. But you're clearly not dead, so it works. It works.
I'm here for now.
But I would like you to blindly taste this new beer that has graced the streets of Frankenmuth.
I'm all about drinking the beer.
Yeah.
And this is
just a new beer in Frankenmuth, and I think you should taste it and tell us what you think.
Who made the
This
beer?
is this is actually from the
we've got a
Frankenmuth.
couple people in front. We've got a couple.
We have a couple great places that make
Yeah.
beer. It's not a black label, I'll tell you that. Which I know that's what we're known for. I'll keep my beer turned around here. But I think it would just be interesting to get your taste test.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I think before we check out the label, it would be interesting to hear your take on it.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm.
Some of your fans have actually had this beer. And this isn't a secret plan to get you to hold a comedy series koozie. That wasn't the point either. Although, look at how good he looks with that koozie. Do you see that?
I am actually holding it at a really good angle, aren't I? That's really good.
It's like we planned it.
Yeah, it's kind of there's some unique there's some unique elements to that.
Yeah?
Yeah. I have no idea what kind of beer this would be.
It's like all over the board. Like you can't
Well, yeah,
put
it's
it
all
in
over-
a category.
Not necessarily. I mean, I should be able to. I'm not like the greatest beer connoisseur amongst us. I'm certain, but no, it's.
Maybe your dad should have did this.
Yeah, no, he should have.
Karen?
We should have brought him in for this segment. No, it's
So it's a unique taste.
It's a unique taste. Yes, it's definitely a unique taste, and it's kind of this like you've got the ancient grains of the that we've
Yeah.
created beer, and that's fantastic. But it is ancient. It is really very, very modern though, because there's a lot of interesting things going on there that are not something that I've tasted in other beers. That's why I can't really place it.
Boy, that is so interesting that you would say that. Pull it out of that koozie. Pull that beer out of that koozie.
No.
Check it out.
Oh! What?
It's a Greta Van Fleet beer.
Well, that was an appropriate answer.
Wow, you weirdly described
Yeah,
that.
Kind of translates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's quite good. This is some fancy.
Yeah. Who's had it? I know a bunch of
who's
you
had
guve
it?
had it. Remember our garden
You're
skate
gonna
beer?
Send a couple invoices.
What?
Jeez.
Yeah, no, that was we did a album
like it.
release party for
I
you
haven't
guys.
had this. I
Yeah.
have not tasted it. I haven't got.
You heard about it.
I did, most certainly.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah,
hoping to
we were-
surprise you with it today. I'm so
little
glad.
involved,
I
but-
was waiting when he came here. I thought, oh gosh,
It's
Karen's gonna bring it up, and she's gonna make sure he asks when he gets here. But you never asked, so I snuck one in here.
Label, here it is.
Ooh.
No, it's an amber ale. That's the thing. No, it's kind of indiscernible. No, it's really good. I trust the Frankenmuth beer.
Yeah.
I guess
That's good. Well,
we know our beer.
Tons of your fans have been asking about getting more of that because we had a very limited supply, and we're working on it. Just give it some time. We're working on it. Hopefully, it'll become a staple in our
dig
town.
it.
Greta Van Fleet beer will be the new black label of Frankenmuth. More than $1 a can, though. Just so you know, way more.
She's actually coming on board.
Wait till we get the street.
Yeah,
We're gonna crack a. We'll tap a barrel the night we name your street. Oh, that'll be so fun.
I
Oh,
think
this is a new party I'm very excited about.
I think there's quite a bit. Yeah, geez, You're a woman of many talents. You want a job? You
Yes.
want another job?
What would you like me to do?
You're not. Yeah, we just. I think probably a couple things I can think of.
If you don't mind, when we're on tour, can we drag a short bus that I can throw my kids in? And
Well, of course.
your mom can watch. We got a nanny.
We could do all this stuff. Oh, perfect.
That'll be great.
Yeah, she could spank them and do all of the other
That's
things.
fine with me.
How many kids?
2 boys.
Two boys.
Yeah?
That's right. So she'll have 2 free limbs to do extra stuff.
She'll be like,
As opposed
this is
to
easy.
you've got 2. Yeah, it's just
I got one that's kind of hard to catch, but the other one's kind of slow. She should have no problem. Sorry, Declan. Anyway, so what else do we need to talk about? Do we talk about everything?
I don't know.